Ever wished you could hit rewind on your education? Like, start over, but this time you're calling the shots, right? Choosing what you learn, going at your own pace, the whole deal.
It almost sounds too good to be true, doesn't it?
Yeah, but get this. We're diving into a system that's doing exactly that, and it's happening right now in Belgium.
And what's really striking is how it flips the script. It's not about fitting your life into some rigid educational mold. It's about making education fit your life.
Education for the free spirit, but you still get that diploma at the end. I love it. So where does this whole thing live online?
All the details are up on this website called Onderwijsgezer. They've got a whole section devoted to what's called the Examencommissie Secundair Onderwijs.
Whoa, hold on. Examine? What? No.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. ECSO for short. Basically, it's the official way to get your secondary education diploma in Belgium, independently.
Independently, so no classrooms, no school bells, none of that.
Unless you want them. That's the beauty of it. Age, background, where you live, none of that really matters.
Seriously. So, someone listening could be a busy professional, a parent who's juggling a million things, maybe even someone who travels all the time, and this could be their path to a diploma.
You got it. And the ECSO, they give you these incredibly detailed vakfiches. Think of them like study guides on steroids. They tell you everything you need to know for each subject, broken down step by step.
Okay, so it's like having a personalized roadmap for every subject, but you get to choose if you want to walk, run, or even take a detour along the way. I'm all about that freedom. But how do you actually learn the stuff if you're not in a classroom? Where do you even begin?
Now, that's where things get really interesting. The ECSO, they're all about the exams, right?
Right.
That's their main thing. But when it comes to actually learning the material, they're like, hey, you do you.
So they're not holding your hand through the process, more like pointing you towards the finish line and saying good luck.
Pretty much. They might suggest checking out these adult education centers. In Belgium, they're called CVOs. They've got all sorts of courses and resources that can help you out.
Makes sense. So you've got some structure with those vakfiches, but you've also got the freedom to learn however you learn best. What about resources, though, like textbooks, materials, all that? Are you on your own for that?
Well, the ECSO is big on resourcefulness. They want you to get creative. You can take free online courses, go to the library, even team up with other people who are learning the same things. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
Wow, it's like they're encouraging you to become a self-directed learner, taking charge of your own education. I love that. But what about the cost? This all sounds amazing, but surely this kind of flexibility comes with a hefty price tag.
Get ready to be surprised. The ECSO is incredibly affordable. We're talking 39 euros, and you essentially get to design your own curriculum and take the exams whenever you're ready.
39 euros. Seriously, that's less than I pay for a single textbook sometimes. What's the catch? There's got to be a catch.
Well, the trade-off is that you're responsible for getting your own learning resources. But hey, look at it this way. It's a chance to get creative. Think outside the traditional textbook and really tailor the learning experience to your own needs and interests.
Okay, so 39 euros, you get to be your own boss when it comes to learning. That's a pretty sweet deal. But does this apply to everything? Can you learn anything through this ECSO thing? Like, what if I'm dreaming of becoming, I don't know, a brain surgeon or something?
Well, they do have a pretty wide range of subjects you can choose from. But yeah, if you're thinking about something super specific, you definitely want to take a good look at those vakfiches we talked about.
Right, the super detailed course outlines, got to make sure they actually cover all the bases.
Exactly. You want to make sure it aligns with your goals. But let's say you're into something like, oh, I don't know, business. Would the ECSO work for that?
It's funny you should mention business because I was actually just about to ask you about that.
Perfect timing then. And the answer is absolutely. In fact, they've been doing a lot of revamping lately, trying to make sure everything lines up with what employers are looking for these days. They've got this track called Cantour, which is all about business administration.
Okay, so it's not just about passing exams then.
Not at all. They're really pushing for real-world skills and experience. Like with this Cantour thing, you actually have to put together a portfolio of your work, and you even have to do an interview.
Wow, they're not messing around. It's like they're taking everything you'd learn in a traditional business program and then saying, okay, now prove to us you can actually use it.
Exactly. And I think that's so important because, let's face it, in the real world, nobody's going to ask you what your GPA was. They want to know what you can do.
Absolutely. It's about having something to show for all that hard work beyond just a grade on a piece of paper. This whole approach, it just seems so much more, I don't know, holistic. Like, they're not just focused on cramming your head full of facts. They want you to actually be able to apply what you've learned and make something of it.
Totally. And it ties into this whole trend of portfolio-based learning. It's not just about what you know, it's about what you can do with what you know.
Love that. But let's get real for a second. For someone who's thinking about this path, are there any financial aid implications? Like, could choosing the ECSO affect your eligibility for certain programs?
You're right to ask that. That's something people often don't think about. And yeah, depending on your situation, getting your diploma through the ECSO could have an impact on things like social programs. For example, in Belgium, there's this thing called Grow Packet, kind of like a child allowance, and your eligibility for that can change if you're over 18 and get your diploma through the ECSO.
So the ECSO itself might be super affordable, but there could be other financial factors to consider depending on your individual circumstances. It's a good reminder that it's always best to do your research and make sure you have the full picture.
100%. It's about making informed decisions. Look, the ECSO is a fantastic option for people who really thrive in a self-directed learning environment, but it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
It's like choosing between like a guided tour and a solo backpacking trip.
No.
Both can get you to amazing places, but the experience is going to be totally different.
Exactly. And there's no right or wrong answer. It all comes down to what works best for you. The exciting thing is that we're even having this conversation, right? It means we're starting to challenge these old ideas about what education has to look like and who it's for.
Totally. And who knows, maybe this ECSO thing, it's like a glimpse into the future of learning. A future where everyone has the power to create an educational path that truly aligns with their own unique needs and goals. Wouldn't that be something? It really makes you think, doesn't it? About how we define education, I mean. It's like, we're so used to this one-size-fits-all model, but the ECSO is out there proving that there's a whole other way to do things.
It's a completely different mindset.
Yeah.
And what I find so fascinating is how much emphasis they put on the how of learning. Not just what you're learning, but how you go about it.
Exactly. It's like they're saying, we trust you to figure out what works best for you. And honestly, that's so refreshing, especially if you've ever felt like you didn't quite fit into the traditional education system, you know?
I totally get that.
Right.
But it does make you wonder, could this kind of hyper-flexible approach actually work on a larger scale? Like, could this be the future of education, or is that too idealistic?
It's a big question for sure. But just imagine a world where everyone had access to this kind of personalized learning experience, no matter where they lived, what their background was, or how they learned best.
Right. The playing field would be so much more level. We're talking about breaking down some major barriers to education here.
Absolutely. It wouldn't be about trying to fit everyone into the same box anymore. It'd be about giving everyone the tools and the freedom to create their own unique path.
Exactly. And that's what I find so empowering about the ECSO. It shows us that a diploma isn't just something you get at the end of a long prescribed path. It's something you could achieve on your own terms through hard work, dedication, and a willingness to forge your own way.
It's like you said earlier, they're not just teaching you facts and figures. They're teaching you how to learn, how to adapt, how to be resourceful, and take ownership of your own journey. And honestly, those are skills that'll take you far in life no matter what you do.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
So to everyone listening out there, I want you to ask yourself, what are you truly curious about? What skills and knowledge do you need to thrive in this crazy, ever-changing world? And most importantly, what unconventional paths might lead you to those things? Maybe it's time to take a page from the ECSO's book and design your own learning adventure. Who knows what amazing discoveries await?